Hello, everyone, and welcome to our what's today? I believe today is Tuesday. Hashtag mom life. Sorry, guys. So happy Tuesday. Welcome. Hopefully, you've had a chance to look, of course, at our agenda for today. And what this lesson is going to talk about is just kind of going through ideas of or for symbolism. So, what I'm going to do is a couple of things. I'm going to kind of explain the process a little bit more in detail and then sort of flip, as always, to our home or our lesson, kind of go through some steps in terms of expectations, and then should be good to go. So hopefully not taking up too much of your time today in terms of live lesson. And of course, if anybody does join and ask questions as we go, I'm happy to stop and answer as well. So symbolism. So we started our Catcher in the Rye novel. So quite the classic. A lot of great stuff within the literature of Catcher in the Rye that Salinger has done. So, in terms of symbolism, I think what's really important to understand is the concept that symbolism is, in fact, a tool, and it's a tool that is used to sort of create meaning that is not necessarily otherwise implied. So, it's very much a man made tool, man made association. So, I think a good way, or maybe a more conventional way of understanding symbolism, is think of color. So, the idea red. So, the idea of red does not represent anything really, other than what it is, a color, a pigment. We, however, add the association of symbolism to mean certain things. So we associate red with different meanings, different emotions, love, anger, blood. Things like that, where we in fact have placed those associations on that color itself. Sorry, guys. Um, Think of the color blue. So, how do we associate symbolism with the color blue? Usually, when you think of blue, you think of things like peace. You think of things like being calm or the state of being calm. So, the concept of symbolism, again, it's important to understand sort of we, in fact, have created those associations and it's added within literature or plots, movies, etc., to sort of deepen the understanding of character as well as themes. So that's kind of why it's used, and based, of course, on how good or not good the quality of the product or medium, whether it's a book or movie, etc. Sort of symbolism definitely helps kind of carry those stories along. So what I'm going to do now, and if anyone has taken the time to watch our video Tully and I did for symbolism, I think you might be quite entertained. So I'm going to actually just go into our content. I want to actually go right into Catcher in the Rye and sort of take you through a little bit more in depth the idea of symbolism. So, a couple of things that I want you to pay attention to. Of course, we have our chapters 5 to 9. So, with Catcher in the Rye, so two specific things of which you're looking at in the explanation or understanding of symbolism is Holden's hat as well as the ducks. Hello, Miss Telly. So we're just going to flip back over here. So specifically like what I had just explained. So within Catcher of the Rye, you're going to look at some examples of, let's just say, what the hat symbolizes and what the duck symbolizes in chapter 9 once Holden actually gets to New York City. So if we scroll down a bit more, this is again kind of an elaboration of what I had just discussed with you. So it's the idea to use symbols to signify ideas and qualities by giving them sort of symbolic meanings that are different from the literal sense. So, like I had just mentioned, we in fact create those associations to these things or to these concepts in order to develop, as I had mentioned, character and theme. So,
Hey,
with
Steph, do you know that you're not sharing your screen right now? It's just your face. Not that it's important, but
I did not know that, and thank you, Miss Tilly.
I'm
Hold
just
on.
enjoying watching you.
Hold on. No, I thought I pressed it. I'm really sorry, guys. For those watching later on, I'm really sorry because I thought I pressed it. That's fantastic. So hang on. We're going back. There we go.
There we go.
Okay, so we didn't miss much because the beginning was supposed to be my face, but then this part was supposed to be the actual lesson. Sorry, guys, you got a little bit more face than you may have wanted. Really sorry about that. So again, just reading what was here, and again, it kind of re-emphasizes what I had just described. So the hat, the ducks, in regards to symbolism. And then we sort of get into deeper concepts of the struggle with loss of innocence, of which is supported through the use of the red hat, the anxiety about the welfare of the ducks in Central Park. Again, we have a better understanding of Holden because these symbols, these tools, are in fact used to enhance that understanding of the character. So again, we kind of described in our Oscar-worthy agenda video, in the idea of the alienation of Holden in regards to what that hat goes further to represent and how we better understand that character. Some great little videos here in terms of Catcher in the Rye. And then, of course, we go into the expectations for today. So in part one, just please remember you're only answering one of the following questions, and I'm not going to read them to you. You guys can do that yourself. Part B, you're going to identify another possible symbol from the book, whether it's find a quote and explain why you think, excuse me, why or what you think it is a symbol of and why. So we've sort of given you those examples. I've kind of gone through it, and then it's your opportunity to kind of try and pick something that you feel is a symbol or represents something else. And then, of course, you can get into it right from there. And then we go right into our ongoing journal for Catcher in the Rye. So in your chapter journal, please answer the following questions about chapters 4 to 9. You will be adding to it throughout the unit for all 7 sections and handing it in at the end for your assessment. So a couple of things in regards to understanding sort of Jane and what she means to Holden, which obviously we understand she means a lot to Holden. But what does she in fact represent to Holden, but as well as the story as a whole? What significance is that that Holden doesn't want to throw a snowball at a car while he's waiting for Ockley? What effect did Allie's death have on Holden, and what is the quality of the composition Holden writes to oh my goodness, Stratlater, sorry. My volume, there we go. When Holden sees the couple at the Edmont Hotel squirting water at each other, what does he think? So kind of questions that I'm hoping you will take the time to kind of dig a little deeper and sort of just answering kind of superficially, right? So in looking at symbolism, it sort of really forces you to think what is in fact not directly or explicitly stated, but what in fact is implicitly meant or represented. And then, of course, we go into number 5, which is kind of a big question in regards to Catcher in the Rye, and one that we will in fact come back to later on. And it's the idea of the untrustworthy narration, that untrustworthy narrator. And as in the case of Holden and Catcher in the Rye, it is important to look at the inconsistencies in his actions, thoughts, and speech. So basically, how does Holden behave versus how he thinks or sort of kind of judges others? Because we know Holden is quite judgy, if that's even a word, but I'm going to say judgy because I like it. Find an example in the text in chapters 5 to 9 of inconsistencies and explain what those inconsistencies again suggest about Holden's character. And of course, this is just where you're going to submit your responses. So I'm just going to scroll back here 1 second.
Steph, they can't hear me because you have earphones on, but can you mention to them that question number 5 they will have noticed repeats every single day for every section, and that's because it's prepping them for one of the possible essay questions.
So something to also keep in mind, like I said, with the question 5 in terms of the untrustworthy narrator. So yes, you are going to notice that there's a lot of repetition with that question. It comes to basically every single sort of discussion post. You're going to see that question again and again. And hint, hint, nudge, nudge, why you have that question. It is not a glitch. We're not silly or overly tired, although sometimes, when we are writing our lesson, but it in fact is going to come up potentially maybe in a final assessment, like final exam. So it is important to kind of essay, etc. It's just important to pay attention to that, make notes of that, keep that under your hat, maybe red hat. Oh, I'm so funny. In regards to just keeping that in mind that it is a question that is going to come up, which is why we are kind of constantly reminding you of that. Okay, so relatively short lesson for today. day. I don't think we have any questions or students, and that's okay. You guys can always watch this later on. But just if you have any questions, please contact your teacher. I am going to take this opportunity for those that are watching. Please remember self-assessments for your discussion. They are important. And we're going to actually be a little bit more mindful of reminding you guys of that because, again, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, it may be useful to you later on in terms of some final assessments where you will, in fact, have to go back and complete those or look at those, refer to those. So just taking this opportunity to kind of plug that in, but we will be reminding you of those a little bit more frequently as well. So hopefully this was helpful for you guys. I hope you have a great day. And again, if you need any help, please, please don't hesitate to contact your teachers.